Hello everyone, welcome back to Note to Self. Today's episode is a continuation of the Unbothered Energy series. So if you haven't tuned in, the previous 5 episodes were all a part of the series and you guys loved it so much. I felt like I wanted to deliver more, and this topic is just so alive in my life right now and the work that I'm doing with clients that I wanted to share more. So thank you to those of you who reached out to me, sharing feedback on the podcast, letting me know that you've loved it. Thank you to those of you who shared it on social media. I always love hearing from you. So thank you so much. Just wanted to say that meant a lot to me and brought a big smile to my face. And I'm excited. I'm excited to dive into today's topic because this is another level of unbothered energy. And for those of you who were really clicking with the series so far, this is going to be incredibly supportive for you. So I'm going to be talking about something that surprises almost everyone along this journey of integrating unbothered energy. And that is because when you start becoming unbothered, when you stop over-giving, over-explaining, overextending yourself, you don't just feel peace. Sometimes you feel anger. Sometimes even rage. And if that's been coming up for you, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not going backwards. You are detoxing emotionally. So let's ground this into something real. When you've spent years being the good one, the one who keeps the peace, who is agreeable, who lets things slide, your nervous system actually gets wired to avoid conflict. There's research in neuroscience that shows when we suppress emotions repeatedly, the brain stores them in the body rather than fully processing them. So they don't disappear. They accumulate. Think of it like a pressure cooker. Every time you swallow your truth, every time you say it's fine when it's not, you're turning up the heat just a little more. And becoming unbothered, that's when you take the lid off. Of course, there's going to be steam. Or another way to see it is if peace is the clean, calm surface of a lake, anger is the sediment that's been sitting at the bottom. And when you start doing the work, when you stop distracting, numbing, people-pleasing, you stir the water. So for a moment, it actually looks messier than before. But that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means that you're finally seeing clearly. And it's important to see clearly because that allows us to set new energetic precedents, new boundaries in our lives. A lot of people think being unbothered means being calm all the time. That's surface level. Real unbothered energy is self-loyalty. And when you become self-loyal, you start noticing everywhere you weren't. And that can make you angry. Understandably, right? So you might catch yourself thinking, why did I allow that? Why did that happen in my past? Why didn't I say something? Why was I shrinking myself like that? And here's something powerful to understand. Anger is often a secondary emotion. Underneath it is grief. Grief for the times that you abandoned yourself. Grief for what you tolerated, grief for what you deserved but didn't receive. But anger is what protects that grief. From a physiological standpoint, anger activates your sympathetic nervous system. It increases heart rate, adrenaline, and blood flow. It literally prepares your body for action, which is why anger feels so different from sadness. Sadness sinks you inward. And oftentimes we can have a visceral relief from sadness through crying, but anger moves you outward. It says something needs to change. So when anger comes up in your glow up, it's not here to sabotage your peace, although I really want to acknowledge and validate it certainly can feel like that. It's here to restore your boundaries. But here's where most people go wrong. They either push that anger back down because maybe there's some programming, some conditioning there that women especially aren't allowed to be angry or feel that emotion. Or perhaps they project it onto others in a way that creates chaos. Neither of those actions are power. That's just the old pattern wearing a different outfit. Integration of that emotion and that experience of releasing anger is something else entirely. Integration is being able to sit in the fire without becoming the fire. Think about a fireplace for a moment. When fire is contained, it warms the home. When it is uncontrolled, it burns it down. Your anger is the same. So, what does healthy processing actually look like? It looks like letting the emotion move through your body instead of trapping it in your mind. Because emotions are physiological, not just psychological. There's research showing emotions, when fully felt, can move through the body in about 90 seconds. But what keeps them stuck is the story or stories that we attach to them. So instead of spiraling into the story, you let yourself feel the sensation. A tight chest, heat in your face, energy in your arms, and you choose to breathe through it. You choose to move it. You do not suppress the energy, and you do not act from the peak of it. Because when anger is processed, it refines. It turns into clarity. And clarity is what makes you unbothered. Not avoidance, not numbness, clarity. This is the space where you stop being quote unquote nice and start being true. And truth has an edge to it. Not a harsh edge, but a clean edge. You may notice you tolerate less. You speak more directly. You feel less available for misaligned dynamics. And that's not you becoming difficult. That's you recalibrating your standards. Another way to look at this is your old identity was built around being liked. And your new identity is built around being aligned. And those two things don't always overlap. So yes, there may be moments where you feel more reactive, where things that never used to bother you suddenly do. But the truth is, they always bothered you. You're just not overriding yourself anymore. And I want to say this clearly. Healing does not mean that you stop feeling anger. Healing means that you stop betraying yourself. The woman who is truly unbothered is not emotionless. She is regulated, she is honest, and she is self-led. She can feel anger without losing herself in it and without abandoning herself to avoid it. So if you're in this phase right now where things are coming up, where you feel that heat in your body, where your tolerance is shifting, this is not a setback. This is recalibration. You are clearing stored emotional weight so your future self does not have to carry it. And on the other side of this is a deeper calm. It's not performative peace, not I'm fine energy. It is grounded. It is embodied, and it is unshakable calm. The kind of calm that comes from knowing I trust myself to respond. I honor what I feel. I choose what aligns. And that is real unbothered energy. So if you're in this space right now, where you can feel yourself shedding old patterns, but you're not fully anchored into the next version yet, this is exactly the work I do in coaching. We don't just talk about becoming unbothered, we build the nervous system, the identity, and the standards that hold it. So you're no longer swinging between suppression and reaction, you are rooted. If you're ready for that level, you can reach out or apply to work with me. There'll be a link for that in the show notes. And thank you so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this extra bonus in the Unbothered Energy series, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.